Hi, this is Susan Blue Robot from SusanBlueRobot.com. I'm here today with another card making video. This one I'm making the platform card that I did, and I made the bowling alley. This is it here. First, I want to say that this is a bigger one to start off with. I recommend that we start off with just one single thing on a platform to start off with, and that's what I'll be doing, as well as showing you how I did come to be doing this and did come to be putting this together. But warning, get used to doing it first. So I'm using Make the Cuts Pop-Up Card Studio, and I've got a 5x5 card. So I'm going to go to the bottom plane, and I'm going to go on a plane of 0.5. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a platform here. So we're going to go at 1/2 inch, and this is what I mean about we're going to start with Escape, Auto, Quad, 2-point rec, and I'm going to do a platform. So we'll do a platform, say this big. Then what I need to do is put the platform anchored down here. So I hit the space bar and did a 2-point rec from that platform down to the bottom. Then now I'm going to go on a plane of 1.75, and I'm going to bring in something that I'm going to put on this platform. Now I did warn you that this is preferably what you should start off with, something that is not 10 bowling balls, 10 bowling pins plus 1 bowling ball, because it's not as easy as just putting it together. You've got to take your time and put it together. So we'll start off with our trusty robot, and we're going to have him about, say, this big. Take the snapping off. I'm going to give a shadow of that of, say, 2 millimeters. Now we'll take the robot aside, and we want this. Now what we're going to have is we're going to have that centered and down the bottom. Now we're going to have it on this plane. Now we know that this is a half an inch up. So what you need to do is we need to go back onto this plane here, and zoom in here. Now whatever you put up here, you've got to have a lip on it. What I mean is there's got to be a hangover on this side and this side, so your tab fits through only to a certain point. So we've got to bring in a square, and we're going to have a little slit here. Now this is what I meant. I'm going to have that slit about 0.025. It's only very narrow, but that's what you want. You only want it, alright, I'll say 0.3. 0.03. So that's what we have so far. Now, because we're also going to go back to this tab, back to this one here. Now we're on that. We're just going to bring him up ever so slightly so I can see this underneath thing. And we're going to bring in another square on this one. And we're going to take this and we're going to line it up here so it just fits in between. Let's see if I can show you this. You see this slit one we had on the back here? Let's load this down. No, can't lower it down. Let's bring it back up. The slit at the back here, so we'll have it so there's movement in it, but not too much movement. So there's a bit this side and a bit that side. Then what we're going to do is select both of them, and we've got it hanging over here. And we're going to do a weld on that. Now, what we're going to do is we now take our robot and we're going to move him back in place. Because this will be a print and cut, okay? So everything on that layer we select. And then we go cut. We go over to make the cut and we go paste in place because we know that's the perfect size. So if we make this white and we continue. So we go back here and we have a look at this. Print preview. And that's what we have. We have our slit in our platform that the robots tab is going to go down into. We know this is a 1/2 inch from this score line to this score line because that's how we're going to work it, so we know what to do when we get over to meet the cut, or whatever other program you use to edit your SVGs in and cut from. Of course you can cut from here, but you cannot print and cut from here. So what we'll do now is we'll save this. And you save it whatever you want to save it as. Save. And then you go Project Render, Render to SVG. And you put it in the right folder. Then you go over to meet the cut. And you bring in that SVG. And there you have your cut. The thing that we need to do here is we need to put to each its own. And on another layer, you need to give a score line for this cut robot here. So with that selected, what we've got to do is we've got to select both of these and we come down a 1/2 inch, and that's where your score line is going to be. So at this point in time I'm going to put the 1/2 inch on, and we're going to draw from here to here. Bring that back in. Take the snapping off. Excuse that noise. And we're going to bring this back in, and we're going to make that a score line of dashes. Okay, so this is the cut for the outside. The inside is the printing part. And so what you do is when this gets folded backwards, and it gets, after this is folded, it gets slotted in here and glued to the bottom of the card. glue the back part of the card on first, then, and what this gets done is this gets slotted into there, this folds back, so you put the back bit on the back of the card, then you slot this in, you lay your robot forward with the tab through here, and you glue just this back bit plus the outside bottom bit of the card to the other part of your card, the outside part of your card. Then let the glue completely dry before going on, opening it, and it should stand up and close as you go. Okay, now we've got the pieces cut out. This is our platform card, our robot, and our backing card. Now, what we have to do now, suggested to do some of these and work your way up to doing the bowling alley one. We add glue. Now, my glue at the moment is not the best. I've opened a new bottle, and this one seems waterier, meaning that it takes longer to dry. So we put it in place just like you would a normal pop-up. Hold it in place, lift that up a bit and pull that down. Now what we're doing is we're putting the back bit on. Now that's the back bit. Do not glue this bit on till you have put your robot in place. Now we've folded the robot so it's a 1/2 inch down from the lip of the robot. We thread that in there. We move him forward. Have him in place. Push him all the way down. Then we lay it flat. So you'll see that the fold line is now a mountain fold. Just make sure he's in place. With him in, and we know he's laying the right way out. We know his lips all the way down to there. Now we add our glue on that tab there. As I said about my glue's very watery. As you'll see in the next video when I'm putting the alley together. I think I need to buy a new glue. Even though this is a new bottle, I don't think it's any good. Okay, so we put the glue on. We've made sure we've put the glue just on that little tab there. Then we fold the card over. Because if you don't put the robot in as you're making up the base of the card, or the bowling pins or anything else, you'll have a hard time getting this glued in here. So what we then have is we have our card made. And so here we have our card. And the mechanism under there with the tab going through to the base of the card operates him coming up and down. And the platform is the part that's made and set up in Pop-Up Card Studio. So it can be done in Pop-Up Card Studio, which is a lot easier than setting it up in Meet the Cut or anything else like that. So there you have your card. Now recommended, please do a few of these different ones, even if it's just a couple more or something added before going on to doing 12 pieces, 11 pieces for the bowling alley. Okay, so now we'll go on to the bowling alley. Okay, now we're going to go on to doing the bowling alley. So we have a card of 5 inches by 5 inches, and we're going to go to a bottom plane of 0.5. and we're going to bring in a drawer. I'm going to put it on a snapping of 1/4 inch, and we're going to draw from 1 1/4 inch out from the side. We're going to click there, bring it out to 1/2 inch from this end, click there, and back into 1 1/4 from the side. I use the grid lines to work out what was what there, and then I'm going to go to Auto Quad, hit the space bar, and it's going to come down and put this anchor on here. Then I'm going to go turn this off, 1/4 inch snapping, and I'm going to go to a plane of 0.3. So that's 0.3 of an inch from the back, and we're going to bring in the first bowling pin. I Google searched and got a bowling pin out of images. I took it in to make the cut. Then I traced it and turned it into an image. So make sure that's in the bottom plane. Now what I'm going to do, now these aren't remaining here. These are so I can set it up. So I'm going to do a duplicate of that, and I want 4 across. So I've got to see if they fit across there with a little space in between, and they do. So I go accept. I can just take it up just ever so slightly bigger. This determines how big all your pins are going to be. So I want that into the center and down to the bottom plane. The bottom plane being not that one. This plane here. Now what we do is that's our pins. Now we want to put a square under them. We're going to bring that down to 4, so I can bring it in my sight instead of having to zoom out and get it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is with that square, I'm going to make a tab underneath each of the pins. So we wanted, like the other one, like what I just said on the other video of making the single image on a card, you need that lip. So we're going to give about that much lip. Maybe a bit more, a bit less. And we'll center that in there. Right. Now the idea is we're going to trim off the bottom when we take it over to make the cut, but you need it longer than that 1/2 inch underneath. Now what we'll do is we'll do a duplicate of that with that selected, duplicate, no, cancel that. And now we're going to grab these 3 and we're going to delete them. Now that was to set up what size we needed, so we're going to delete them, select them, do a blackout and a weld. Now I'm going to do a duplicate of that, and we know that the spacing we wanted was the 1.1 of an inch apart. We go accept. So now I'm going to now take I'm going to split them apart because they're already split. And I'm going to take 3 of them. I'm going to do a copy. I'm going to go out to a plane of 0.6. And I'm going to do a paste in place. And I'm going to center them. Then I'm going to deselect them and take 2 of them and do a copy. I do a copy of them. Then I'm going to go out to a 0.9. And I'm going to do a paste in place. Center them. Then I'm going to deselect and take 1 of them, do a copy, and go out to 1.2, do a paste in place, and do a center. And also, while I've got that copied, I'm going to go over to make the cut, get a new project, and do a paste in place. That's the size of the bowling pin that we're going to need for our project. We go back here. Now these bowling pins are just for what I call just for show at the moment, because we're going to take all these away and we're going to put them in when we make the card. So now we've got to go onto this bottom plane of 0.5. And we're on this plane here, so we've got to bring in a square. And now I'm going to say at this point in time, because I'm running the editor as well as the recording at this point in time, that's why my machine has got a bit of a delay and it's taking so long. So then I bring in this, so it's just slightly bigger than the actual tab, but not bigger than the lip of the bowling pin. We'll center that. And we'll just move it into place. Now that we're happy with that, I'm going to do a copy of that. Paste in place. I'm going to move that over to here. Put it there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back here, select this one and cut that, because I no longer need that. So now I'm going to hold the D key down and go back down to here. I'm going to select this one here. I'm going to do a duplicate of that. And I only need 2 at this point of time, so I get down to 2. And then I use this to space it out. So then I know they're completely in line. And that's what I want. I go accept. Now I'm going to do a copy of that. Paste in place. Take that pasted one over to here. and I'm going to go back, hold the D key down. Now I'm going back to delete these so they're not in my way, so you can see what I'm doing. That's my personal preference. If you want to leave them there until the very end and take them away, it's entirely up to you. Now I'm going to go back to here, and I'm going to go I want another one of these. Another one of these. Copy, paste in place, and then I've got to move that over to the other side pin. Okay, on this layer, paste in place, and I'm going to now move that over in spot. When I get near the spot, I will then take it off the snapping and just move it over. Now that that one's in the right place, I'm going to copy one of these. Copy. Then I'm going to go paste in place. And I'm going to pick that up and take it over here. Now I'm going to go D key, hold the D key down and select this one. Select everything on that one and go cut. Then I'm going to go back to here. With that selected, I'm going to go duplicate, and I want 4 of them. And we go accept. And then we're going to go D key, select these pins, select all that's on that layer, go cut. So there we have our pieces. Now I'm going to go select one of these, do a copy and a paste in place, and just select it. Okay, if you do have trouble with that, go up one, do a paste in place, select that because that's the only one on that layer, bring it over where you'd like it to be, then you go cut, go back down to the layer you want it on, and go paste in place. So then I had trouble moving the little bit over. So what I did is I went up one, moved it, and then put it down. So that is your whole card. So now you would save that and go export to SVG. I'll put it on the desktop and I go bowling. Then you open up, make the cut that you have your pin on already. You bring in SVG, the same SVG we just made. Bowling, we bring that in. So there's your card as you cut it. and you've got your score lines and things on that. All we're going to do now is take this down to the line, because what we need is a score line a half an inch from this lip here. I'll zoom in here. So we need to put a score line a half an inch from this, which is on this line here. So on a new layer, on this default layer, we'll do is I'll bring in the pencil tool, and I just do a line across here like this. Turn this into a line style of dashes. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is select both of them. Zoom out so you can see what I'm doing. With them both selected, is I'm going to go duplicate, and I want 10 altogether, so we're going to do apply. We're going to do 4 rows of 3, and that is duplicating also on the score lines the same amount. So on the score lines you have 10 or 12. I'll take 2 away, and on the cut lines you'll have 12. But of course we're going to take 2 away, so I deselect, select 2 complete sets, and cut them away. So you have your score lines for your bowling pins, your bowling alley with your score lines, and mountain and valley folds, and your cut lines. Then you go ahead and you cut that out. You also cut out a backing card for your card, and I'll now go over to the video of me putting it together. Now, I hope that you all listen to me first and just put the single one that we made first, did a single one, and learnt that way to do this, because this one's a bit more difficult. Oh, and before I do stop this to go over, we need a bowling ball. And so what I did with my bowling ball, I brought in one bowling ball, and I brought in a rectangle that is the same size as your slit, so it fits in there. That's going to fit in there, so I added that to there. But in the meantime, I took a copy of this one. Whoops. I welded these two together. Welded. And this one also needed a score line, so you put that. I put that on that inch mark there, and I needed just a score line just half an inch down from that top bit. Just on its own layer. Just across here. So that's the score line for that. Close that for the moment. We'll go back here and we'll put these on their own layer. So this becomes the score line for these. Now with this one here, I just did a little hole there, did a copy of that by holding the Control Shift down, and put 3 little holes in that corner, and I did a join. So then this gets glued onto the top there, and then that gets put in there, folded here to be put in here. Of course this will be a different colour. Now I didn't do print and cut on the red bits on my bowling pins. I just used a Copic marker and did 2 little stripes. So now we'll go over to making this card, and Okay, now we've got this far. We've cut out the pieces and we've put the back bit of the card in. Don't go gluing this bit into the card yet, because if you do that, then you'll have trouble sticking your bowling pins in. So this is what we do. With the bowling pin, the right side facing you means the fold is away from you. You thread them in with the right side facing you, and you go along and you thread all 10 pieces in. Don't worry about that, they're not neat yet. It's fiddly, but it's even more fiddlier if you don't put these in before you glue in the card into the backing card. I found it quite impossible for me to get the pins in. So once you've got all them, they've all got to be laying this way. So now you start, bring these forward, and you get in, so you can see, you get in under here and just straighten them all up. Now the good thing is, because you've got a lip on your, when we designed the card, the bowling pins have a lip where the bowling pin meets the tab. So push it all the way down to that lip and you straighten them up. Now I'm going to hold the card flat, then turn it over, and if you just look here, you can just sort of see, okay, that one's twisted a bit. So we just move them with our hands a bit. They're all evenly out, and we know where to put the glue is on each one of these little square tabs that are folded backwards. So what we do is we've got to put all the glue all around the outside plus on these tabs. So what I'll do is I'll put my glue in this part of the card first, so I don't get back to my tabs and find that the glue is dried out when I was putting this on. Right, now you don't put too much glue, but you don't put too little. You put on all 10 tabs. And trust me, you don't want to miss putting it on one of them. I have one card here that somebody had got one pin down because it doesn't have a bowling pin. Now you've got them on all 10 tabs. You then bring the back of the card over and flatten the card. Okay, I just did what I told you not to do. Make sure you have all your pieces in. I've left the bowling ball out. This shows you all that I make mistakes. I don't show you all my mistakes in the video, but obviously, because I've cut this card 5 times now. This card's not going to end up in the bin. I'm going to fix it. Right, where's my bowling ball? Now I'm going to put the bowling ball in place. Thread the bowling ball in there. And the idea is to make sure, don't do what I just did. Prior to this, make sure before you open your card that the glue has had long enough to dry. Okay, we're going to do that again. Just disregard this side of the card. We're going to put the glue on the card. I have to make sure that I do glue it properly. Put glue on 11 tabs, 10 pins plus 1. Bowling ball. Once they're on, then we shut the card and we make sure that everything has enough time with pressure. Pressure with the glue will give it enough time to dry. Then when it's dry, your card will open up and your pins will be working on this mechanism here. Your pins are to the bottom of the card, facing backwards. So when your card folds up, they all fold flat, as well as the ball folds with the card. But because your platform works that it's only got a little slit in it, when it opens up, your bowling ball and your pins are upright. Just like that. If you make sure the glue's dry completely when putting it together, you have your mechanism. This has been Susan Blue Robot at susanbluerobot.com. I hope you enjoyed this platform thing. I will show you a sneak peek and another platform one that I've done, which takes a lot of putting together. This is on the same sort of idea. The mechanism is all under the platform and the card opens and shuts just like that. The trouble with this is being that you've got to put temporary tape down to hold these parts in place before gluing. And then when I pulled it up, the temporary tape buckled or some of the letters. So I still have to get back to this, but I know it can be done because this one's proof that it can be done. All but one of the letters has temporary tape on the back of it. But the best thing to do first off is just try a single, one single thing on a platform and then start with one before working up to doing 10 and 11 pieces to put in there. Then you get an idea of how you've got to put it in to get right. This has been Susan Blue Robot, susanbluerobot.com. If you'd like to see any more of my other videos, or if you'd like to purchase Make the Cart Pop-Up Card Studio, if you follow links from my blog, you'll help support my blog. Thank you. Bye for now.